This copyrighted broadcast, presented exclusively on GIAA.TV, is copyrighted by the Georgia Independent Athletic Association, a division of the Georgia Independent School Association, for the private use of our audience. It may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of the Georgia Independent School Association.
What is going on, everyone? Thrift Barringer here, live from virtual Beck Center Studios here on this late Friday night on GIAA.TV. We have a special show in store for you here today, so cannot wait to get it going, as I will be updating you on all the scores around the association right now. And we have playoff games. 8-man football already in the quarterfinals, semifinals in 1A, in quarterfinals in 2A, 3A, and 4A. I'm going to give you as many scores as I can. We don't have a team of the week this week, so thank you again to Mallory and Evans for being our presenting sponsor. Also, thank you to the Beck Center for being our presenting sponsor. You can watch Inside the GIAA. We break down all the brackets, all the rankings every single week. Go to Inside the GIAA every Wednesday night on GIAA Facebook page and YouTube channel. All right, I know you're not here watching this show to hear me talk about anything else other than what happened around the association. So let's start. Westfield takes down Tift Area 42-6. Dominant win for Westfield. They will head on to the next round. Now, their opponent will be against, I think, Deerfield Windsor, as I shouldn't be thinking, I should know. And Deerfield Windsor did win 21-3. So we have a Deerfield Windsor versus in the 3A classification. We're doing 3A right now. Deerfield Windsor taking on 2A. Number 2, Deerfield Windsor taking on number 3, Westfield. Both those teams won 21-3 for Deerfield Windsor and 42-6 for Westfield. So we'll see those two teams in the semifinals. Other 3A classification. John Millage took down Piedmont 56-0. So John Millage is heading to the semifinals, and we got an upset. The team that has made the championship the last 2 seasons is out. Valwood loses to Frederica 28-21. Frederica goes on the road and gets a massive win. So we got John Millage, Frederica. We got 2 versus 3, which is going to be Westfield and Deerfield next week in the 3A classification. Again, John Millage 56-0, and Frederica goes on the road to beat Valwood 28-21. So we got Frederica, John Millage. We got Deerfield, Windsor, and Westfield in the 3A classification. Now let's go to the 2A classification. All right, first game up is Brentwood. They took down Windsor Academy 49-21. Brentwood, the defending state champion, moves on to the semifinals. So good win there by Brentwood. They'll be taking on Briarwood, who beat and won against Trinity Christian 51-9. So Briarwood and Brentwood will be facing off once again, this time for a semifinal matchup. Southland defeats Central Fellowship 20-12, and they'll be taking on Southwest Georgia, who was able to go on the road, Richard. Richard, he's not even here with us today. They were able to go on the road and beat Gatewood 30-18. So Southwest Georgia wins 30-18, and Southland wins 20-12. So Southland will go on the road to Southwest Georgia, and Brentwood will host Briarwood for those 2A semifinals. So congratulations on those big wins. I predicted chalk in this region and this classification. Southland, Southwest Georgia. That game that in the regular season went down the wire. I expect nothing else next week. And Brentwood, Briarwood, every time those two teams face against each other, we're always in for a classic. Now let's go to the 1A classification. And let's first start with Edmund Burke. Edmund Burke was able to beat Flint River Academy 42-7. So great job. Edmund Burke was able to beat Flint River 28-6. So Edmund Burke will move on to the championship round. And guess who they're going to be facing off in the 1A state championship? Robert Toombs. A rematch of last year's state championship. Robert Toombs defeats Thomas Jefferson 51-26. So we got Robert Toombs and Edmund Burke already punching their ticket to Macon state championship coming up here in just a few weeks. So congratulations to both those teams. Now, so we've done 1A, we've done 2A, we've done 3A. Let's go ahead and let's go to 4A. FPD dominates Strong Rock 42-7. So FPD will now move on and they will head to take on Brookstone and the Cougars. How about the Brookstone Cougars dominating at St. Anne Pacelli in a rematch of the ages in the quarterfinals? Brookstone 40-7. Tell me if you saw that coming, because I know I did. So Brookstone will host FPD. Again, Brookstone will host FPD. Stratford beat Calvary 37-21. So Stratford will move on. But George Walton, how about George Walton, Richard? I mean, I keep saying Richard because I'm so used to him being on this show. But George Walton upsets Bullock Academy. Are you kidding me? George Walton, the undefeated George Walton Bulldogs, who everybody is second guess. Everybody's like, how could they? The only undefeated team in 4A, but ranked number 5. Well, that was because of strength of schedule. But they go on the road and defeat the defending state champion Bullock Academy 27-17. So George Walton will take on Stratford, and we have Brookstone and FPD. So Strong Rock and Stratford. We have George Walton and FPD. So cannot wait for that. Richard's joining us right now. Richard, I just got done doing 2A and 3A. In the 2A classification, I did 1A, 2A, and 3A. I'll go quickly with you. In the 3A classification, Westfield wins. They got a great victory, Richard, here earlier today as they were able to take down Tift area. They'll take on Deerfield Windsor, who won 21-3. So 2 versus 3 in 3A and 1 versus 5. John Millage wins, but here's the upset. Frederica goes on the road and defeats Valwood, Richard. So we got Frederica and John Millage, Deerfield and Westfield in 1 and 3A, and 2A, Brentwood, Briarwood, Southland, Southwest Georgia. That's 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3. Did we expect anything different, Richard? No. In the 1A classification, we got a rematch of last year's state championship. Flint River goes down to Edmund Burke 28-6. And Robert Toombs beats Thomas Jefferson 51-26. And then the 4A classification, as you just heard, FPD beats Strong Rock 42-7. They're in the semifinals once again. Brookstone dominates Pacelli 40-7. So we got Brookstone hosting FPD next week. And Richard, we have Stratford, who dominated Calvary 37-21. They'll be hosting. This was, I think, the biggest upset of the weekend. Bullock Academy, the defending state champion, goes down to undefeated George Walton 27-17. So George Walton will go to Stratford next week to play for the state championship.
Yeah, that tipped area matchup is really shocking. As they actually they lose to Westfield School. I think that the Frederica matchup, losing to Valwood, has been very shocking. There hasn't really been any surprises. I mean, everybody was expected to win that I saw that has won. George Walton still undefeated, taking down the champs. That's going to be a pretty interesting matchup next week when they have to face Stratford Academy. But overall, the top teams, especially in 8-man, have like Vidalia Heritage. We expected they were going to win as the 2 seed. Georgia Christian, that was kind of a toss-up game. They got the win over Westminster Christian. So overall, I was not too shocked about the outcomes tonight.
And let's go to 8-man, Richard. Sherwood Christian dominates David Emmanuel 52-0. We expect nothing from the defending state champion who's undefeated. Georgia Christian takes down Westminster, so good win for Georgia Christian. They will move on to the next round, Richard. And that is all the scores that we have right now at our disposal. We do not have anything else. Again, Georgia Christian won 25-19. We do not have any other scores around the association, unfortunately, Big Rich. So we hope to get those updated scores. You can check the bracket on GIAAsports.org. It's GIAAsports.org is the name of the website where you can find the updated brackets that will be released by either Saturday or Sunday. So we'll know who is playing. We know Sherwood moved on. We know Georgia Christian moved on at 8-man. We don't know the other two teams that moved on. And for 1A, we have Robert Toombs and Edmund Burke in the state championship. And then we got semifinals in 2A, 3A, and 4A. In 2A, it's Brentwood versus Briarwood, 1 and 4. 2 and 3, Southwest Georgia and Southland. In 3A, we got 1 and 5, Frederica taking on John Millage. And then we have number 2, Deerfield Windsor taking on number 3, Westfield. And then in the 4A classification, Stratford taking on George Walton, not George Walton, not Bullock. And Brookstone hosting FPD. Any other final thoughts, Rich, before we get out of here?
No, I can't wait for the semifinal matchups next week. We know that Single A is going to get a bye because they are not going to face off in the Single A championship until championship week. But yeah, going to be some fantastic matchups in the 8-man classification, the 2A, 3A, and 4A.
All right, well, we'll talk about all that on Inside the GIAA this Wednesday night. Make sure to tune in. Me and Richard will update you on all the brackets. We'll talk about those upcoming basketball and more. So I am excited about seeing what's going to happen the rest of these playoffs, man. So glad that we were able to give you all the up-to-date information. Oh, excuse me. I am sorry I didn't have this. This is Westminster Schools of Augusta was able to take down Westwood. Remember, that was my upset, 3-6. And Westminster Schools of Augusta able to take down them 42-18. And then we had Vidalia Heritage beating Frederica. So Fullington. So excuse me. We have all the scores. So we have all the scores that we were able to update right now. So Fullington Academy will take on Sherwood, and Georgia Christian and Westminster Schools of Augusta will face off. Fullington loses to Vidalia Heritage. So Vidalia, excuse me. I'm all over the place right now. Vidalia Heritage, the number 2 seed, was able to win, Richard. They will face off Westminster Schools of Augusta, who beat the number 6 seed Westwood. And then Sherwood is going to be facing off against Georgia Christian. So Sherwood and Georgia Christian. And then we got Vidalia Heritage taking on Westminster Schools of Augusta in 8-man. So there are all the scores for around the association.
Yeah, but what an exciting day of playoff football in the GIAA.
All right. Well, thank y'all so much for watching. We appreciate it. And we hope you have a good rest of your Friday night. We'll see you next time on Inside the GIAA.
This copyrighted broadcast, presented exclusively on GIAA.tv, is copyrighted by the Georgia Independent Athletic Association, a division of the Georgia Independent School Association, for the private use of our audience. It may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of the Georgia Independent School Association.